Welcome to my podcast, and thank you for joining me at the intersection of mystical and mundane. I am your host, Lydia Lazara, founder of Questions Authority Coaching. And in this podcast, you'll hear personal stories from my own experiences and from others shared with me, real-time realizations of the intersection of the mystical and mundane, and short stories written to not only entertain, but to open you up to the magical, mystical divine at work in our lives every day. So answer yes to your soul's invitation and meet me at the intersection of mystical and mundane, where coincidences become synchronicities, where mistakes become gifts of insight, and where your heart connects deeply with your soul and you begin to flow with the universe. Episode 1: Answering the Invitation. You hear a knock at your front door and wonder who it is. You get up from the couch and walk to the door only to open it and see no one. You look up and down the street or the hallway and see no signs of, well, anyone. You look down. A beautifully gilded envelope is on your door's threshold. What is this? You think, picking up the envelope. You open it up, pulling out an ornate gold leaf invitation, and read the following. You are cordially invited to meet me at the intersection of mystical and mundane today at 11 o'clock sharp. Please bring your sense of curiosity and a warm jacket, but leave your preconceived notions and doubts at home. Sincerely, your soul. What? Who the hell left this? And where's the intersection of mystical and mundane? You pull out your phone, type the road names into your map app, and get no results. What crazy person made up this invitation and then ghosted and left it on my door? You turn the invitation over in your hands, looking for a clue, and see there's a map clearly depicting the path you were meant to take to get to the intersection. You hate to admit it, but your curiosity is definitely piqued. After all, too many things have seemed like coincidences lately. It's almost as if the universe is trying to give you a sign that there's something more out there than what you can sense with your known five senses. You've been trying to meditate and reach enlightenment, or at least get some answers to those burning questions that always seem to keep you up at night, and you're not sure you're actually getting anywhere with it. Well, maybe a better ability to sit upright without slouching as much? A friend's name pops into your head. Maybe they're the ones who left the invitation on your doorstep. It would be just like them to do something mysterious but fun like this. And why a warm jacket? It's a beautiful warm spring day outside. They must have something epic planned. Or it's a total prank and you're being set up. What the hell, you think? The map shows I'm going to an obviously public place, so I should be safe, especially at 11 o'clock in the morning on that street. And I'm definitely curious now as to who dropped off this invitation. Besides, I didn't really have anything else to do today. Why not have an adventure? Worst case, I look a little weird carrying a warm jacket, get a couple of strange looks, but I can grab a coffee and then come back home. No harm done. So you go get dressed for the walk, and while you're brushing your hair out and looking in the bathroom mirror, you take a deep breath in and sigh it out. You speak out loud to yourself. I've got this. It'll be an adventure, right? I've got my sense of curiosity with me, and I can leave my preconceived notions and doubts at home just this once. I mean, why not? You grab your wallet and house keys, then remember the warm jacket and the invitation with the map on the back and snag both of those too before heading out the door. You follow the map on the invitation, looking around you as you walk towards your destination. You notice things as you walk out of your neighborhood that you never did before. Almost as though that invitation opened your eyes to a whole new world around you. Somehow everything seems new, interesting, something to be discovered and thoroughly enjoyed. You revel in the sense of awe and wonder and that open curiosity in the world around you that you haven't felt since you were a child. Who knew a simple, mysterious invitation could change how you look at the world around you so much? You arrive at the intersection marked on the map and realize you have definitely been here before. It's a quaint little downtown area with shops and restaurants and the occasional small office building. And it's been a while, but you used to love walking down here on warm summer evenings, hearing the live music spilling out of the bars and seeing all the people out having a good time. Why did you ever stop coming down here? You wonder to yourself. You look up at the street sign to see that the intersection is marked as First Street and Oriat Avenue. Certainly not the mystical lane and mundane avenue as it's marked on the map. You feel a brief wave of disappointment before reminding yourself that you didn't really expect the street signs to say that anyway, and you really just came to get out for the coffee and the adventure. You start to look around, noticing the clock in the face of an old bank building across the street that's been turned into a drugstore, and it says it's only 10:58 a.m. You made it here a little early, so maybe the person who left the invitation isn't here yet. You keep scanning all sides of the intersection, looking for anyone familiar to appear. You also notice that cute little coffee shop with outdoor seating just a couple of buildings down that you remembered. And that'll be your excuse to be out of the house when no one shows up and you realize you've just been pranked. The clock in the building across the street starts to chime 11, drawing your attention back to that side of the street. And suddenly you notice a street lamp with street signs on it that you didn't see before. The street lamp set back just a little bit further than the other street lamps and looks just slightly out of place. And what seems even more odd is no one else seems to even notice this street lamp. Of course, no one's walking into it, but it's almost as if everyone just manages to walk around it as though it were gently repelling them. As soon as you think someone whose head is buried in their phone is going to walk straight into it, their feet just slightly change direction at the last second, and they manage to walk around it, not even lifting their eyes or acknowledging that it's there. How odd, you think. You wait for the crosswalk to say you can go and then cross the street towards that street lamp. You realize it reminds you of the lamppost in that Narnia movie, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. You chuckle to yourself. Did I step through the wardrobe into Narnia? This is quite the little adventure I'm on now, isn't it? As you approach the street lamp, you see the street signs do in fact list Mystical Lane and Mundane Avenue as the intersection. But the Mystical Lane street sign looks different, almost as if it's out of phase with the world, as if you wouldn't see it if you didn't know it was there. And its typeface isn't the typical sans serif all caps font that you see on street signs, and certainly not what is used for Mundane Avenue. No, Mystical Lane is written in a whimsical cursive, and it seems to almost sparkle as if dusted with fairy dust. Looking down Mundane Avenue, you see the typical small town setting that you noticed as you walked up. Shops, restaurants, cars driving up and down the street, parked along the sides of the roads, and people are walking up and down the street also, in and out of the shops. And most are completely absorbed in their phones. And the others not on their phones or with friends are staring straight ahead with that look of blank determination to not be bothered. And then you turn and look down Mystical Lane, what the street sign on the opposite side of the street marked as First Street, and your jaw drops. Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore, you whisper to yourself. You quickly look around, pinching yourself to make sure you're awake. Excuse me, ma'am, do you see this too? Pointing down the lane. You ask a woman walking by who looks up from her phone with a look of disdain at being bothered. She mutters something that sounds like, "You're nuts," and hurries along, looking back at you over her shoulder with a deep distrust. You look back down Mystical Lane and feel this intense wonder filling your chest. It's almost as though you are glimpsing a fairy dimension overlaid with the real world. You can make out a beautiful forest path that seems to be following the same track as the road, along with several mystical creatures traversing the lane. You look around again, up and down Mundane Avenue, praying that what you're seeing is actually real. Someone else has to see it too, right? Child of 6 or 7 years old approaches you. They look oddly familiar, even though you are quite certain you do not know them. You look around for their parent and seeing no one who's obviously with the child, you ask them, "Are you lost?" The child gazes up at you with a little smile and a look as though they can see into your very soul. "No, I am very much right where I am supposed to be. Are you?" You laugh nervously. "Maybe I am. A question for you. Do you see the magical forest down the street?" For some reason, you feel you can ask this child anything and they won't judge you for it or get scared off by the crazy adult. "Of course I can. Why?" "Well, because it shouldn't be here. This is supposed to be First Street, and because no one else except you and I seem to be able to see it. Seems a little crazy to me. Don't you think so?" "What makes you think it shouldn't be here? Doesn't it have a right to exist just like you and I do?" You blink at the child, feeling as though you're having a deja vu moment. Did you dream about this last night? Are you still dreaming about it right now? Something deep inside you knows the child is right. What you are seeing is as real as everything you know that is real along Mundane Avenue, or rather, Oriat Avenue. In fact, there's a part really deep inside of you that feels as though what you are seeing down Mystical Lane is actually more real than what the rest of the world is. But what I'm seeing looks straight out of a fairy tale. And I hate to tell you, but fairy tales aren't real. Everyone knows that. Your better sense kicks in, explaining the improbability of this to the child. The child gazes back at you, cocking their head. You were supposed to leave your preconceived notions and doubts at home. You certainly brought your curiosity in the warm jacket like you were supposed to. Why did you bring your doubts? Wait, what? How did you know about that? Are you the one who left me this invitation? You hold it out towards the child, almost as if you were holding a snake at arm's length so it couldn't bite you. The child rolls their eyes, smiles, and takes your hand firmly in theirs. They start walking towards Mystical Lane, pulling you gently along with them. You don't know why, but as soon as they take your hand, you relax and you feel so held and safe that you can't help but go with them. The two of you walk in an easy silence for a while. Your doubts and preconceptions of what is and is not possible put aside, at least for the time being. You and the child are surrounded by a beautiful forest with twinkling fairy lights. Sunlight streams in through the branches of the trees, and you see a white stag in the distance. Fairies and sprites flit around you as you walk, and you marvel at their beauty and their existence. Where are we going? You ask the child, who is still leading and still gently but firmly holding your hand. We are going to meet an old friend that you haven't seen in a very long time. They laugh, and it sounds like home to you. A warm feeling begins to spread outwards through your body from your heart, and you walk in awe at how at peace you feel in spite of how strange and foreign this is to your mind. Couple more minutes go by as you walk in companionable silence with the child. And then you hear the sound of massive wings beating overhead. And as you look up, you glance a dragon flying over the trees, heading towards what looks like the same clearing you are also heading towards. Your heart beats faster, and you feel a rush of excitement mixed with apprehension. What are you getting yourself into? As though the child can read your thoughts, they give your hand a comforting squeeze and look at you with eyes that instantly allay your fears. How do you do that? You ask the child. Do what? They respond with a little smirk. You're about to press them on that when you come to the edge of the clearing and see the dragon standing in the middle of it, waiting for you. Unbidden, tears come to your eyes. You recognize this dragon. You know this dragon. Memories flash in front of your mind's eye of you flying with this dragon, though you can't actually remember when you would have done this. Your rational mind protests these rememberings as not even remotely possible, but your entire body and soul are responding with the sense of homecoming, a reunion you have long been awaiting. This is why I was to bring the warm jacket, isn't it? For the flight. You turn to the child beside you, only to find they have left your side and are now hugging the dragon. Yes. A deep rumble comes from the dragon, reverberating through your entire body. I have missed you, old friend. I want to fly with you again on my back, to share the mysteries of the universe, and to celebrate your return to Mystical Lane. You look at the child, wondering if they are coming with you on the flight. They smile and sigh with contentment. Of course I will fly with you. This is my homecoming too. You both climb up onto the dragon's back and you put on your jacket. You wrap your arms around the child and you both hold on tight as the dragon's powerful wings lift you higher and higher. You feel as though you have awakened from a bad dream to find that you are being held securely by the most loving being you have ever known, and you are home. How could you have ever believed the dream was real instead of this? There's still a small part of your mind trying to convince you and insisting that this is not reality, but you realize that is not actually your voice in your head. It comes from the dream, which is trying desperately to be real when it can only ever be illusion. You breathe deep, feeling at one with the dragon and the child, floating high above the world on golden wings. You close your eyes and open your arms wide to feel the wind rush through your fingertips. You and your dragon dive towards the earth as one being, fluid and easy. The flight lasts seemingly forever and also only seconds. You open your eyes as the dragon lands back in the clearing and you and the child dismount. You hug the dragon, standing forehead to forehead with it, reveling in the awakening you feel in your body and the love that you feel pouring into and out of you and the dragon and the child all as one. Reluctantly, you eventually pull away from the shared embrace, and as you look around you, you realize you are back at the lamp post, just across from that coffee shop you'd noticed when you first arrived. The dragon seems to be fading into the tapestry of the mundane world you are surrounded by. And you notice the child also seems to be disappearing in front of you. Was this not real? Was this all a dream? You ask. Of course not. We are both more real than what you call the real world. The child smiles and laughs softly. You may not always see me or feel me, but I am always with you, always holding your hand, always supporting you, and always guiding you. You are my soul, aren't you? You ask, gazing with newfound wonder at the child slowly fading from sight in front of you. Yes, and I want nothing more than to reconnect with you and show you how mystical, magical, and divine your world really is. Don't let this feeling of homecoming fade away. Don't go back to staring blindly at your phone, ignoring the mystical in favor of the mundane. Keep remembering who you are, what is real, and what true connection feels like. I won't, I promise, even when the mundane feels so heavy and so real, I promise to look for the mystical, to ask to feel you holding my hand, to remember flying on the back of my dragon. I won't stop seeking this connection and love that I felt with you today. I promise. You blink back more tears, and as you wipe your eyes, you realize that even the street lamp that had drawn you to the side of the street is no longer there. Everything looks perfectly mundane. People continue to walk around you, going in and out of shops, laughing and eating with their friends, completely unaware of what you just experienced. You walk a couple doors down to that coffee shop, order a latte, and then sit at a little table on the street to enjoy it. Your eyes may no longer see mystical Lane, the child, the dragon, or any of the other mystical creatures, but the world still somehow seems crisper, clearer, more sparkling. The flowers and the planters look more colorful than what they did. And you could swear that dog walking by with its owner just winked at you as if to say, I know what you just did. I know it's all real too. You vow to yourself to keep this feeling of connection and homecoming, and to seek unrelentingly for it if it ever starts to fade away. You promise to see the world through these new eyes, with fresh curiosity and the deep love you feel welling up in your heart. To not let cynicism, your preconceived notions, and your doubts creep back in. As you get up from the table, coffee finished, and start to walk back home, jacket in your hand, a child holding their parent's hand stops you. Here, this is for you. They smile wide and hand you a daisy, and you smile back. Thank you for joining me for this episode of At the Intersection of Mystical and Mundane. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and follow me on your preferred podcast platform. And remember that new episodes drop on the 1st and 15th of the month. If you would like to connect with me or work with me, head to my website, www.questionsauthority.com, to find links to my socials, send me an email, or book a session. I look forward to connecting with you and meeting you again at the intersection of mystical and mundane.